Hello, today's tema is driving in Germany slash transport in Munich. And yeah, I thought of this tema because I was up on the rooftop of my building watching traffic, and I was thinking of in general how in Germany traffic isn't maybe that bad worldwide wise, even though mm, there are there is traffic. There are moments where there is rush hour, and like what right at that time is when I see rush hours. It's like 3:30 p.m. or something like this, 4 p.m. and at that time there in front of my street there is always what you call traffic, like retentions, a lot of stuck traffic basically. And that made me think of would I ever could I ever enjoy driving in those conditions? And I was thinking that perhaps having perspective helps, right? It's like seeing this traffic and being like, okay, this is the worst that it gets. Actually, it's not that bad, right? I could get used to it. I was seeing this not classic, but this thing you see a lot of, which is basically expensive German SUVs, expensive German cars, right? So I could like sit in traffic in an Audi SQ7 and like chilling, right? That's not that bad of a situation. And I was like, sure, there are more enjoyable driving experiences, but that one isn't that bad of an experience, right? And yeah, I was like, this is it's also something that I would like to actively try to enjoy. For example, I would actively try to find what's good about driving in the middle of a city, right? Driving through a city like Munich. And if I could achieve that, then I think and that leads me to the next topic. I think I could really enjoy like all of the facets that Munich has to offer. For example, since I'm becoming a train driver, right, I could enjoy the train driving part of it. It's a relatively decent city for public transit in general, right? Not just for, yeah. I was thinking primarily in this kind of sense of like how do you move through the city, but also seeing that inner side of like how a city's transport system works. It's interesting, right? Then if I could enjoy driving through traffic in those conditions, right? Driving through actual traffic, proper traffic. There's plenty of that there, right? There are a lot of roads in Munich. There are like there are like autobahns. There is like cool city center that's kind of restricted, like in many cities of Europe. Yeah, so basically, I could enjoy that. Motorbikes, for example, I'm not sure what's the restrictions on those, but yeah, I'm sure there are some, and I'm sure there are some places where they are kind of advantageous, even though they are not super common, if I recall correctly. But yeah, then the next thing I thought of was, well, another thing that I thought of that I haven't listed specifically, but yeah, that is something that I thought of was, for example, driving through fun roads, right? Munich has pretty close by the Alps, right? Well, close by, quote unquote, because it's not like you drive out of your house and there are the Alps, not really. But there are roads like to an accessible distance. For example, like a couple of hours away, you have the Alps. These things, right? That's what I mean. And for example, Doc DeMuro mentions that for him, Germany is actually like one of the places he most enjoys driving, right? It's a place that checks out the boxes. For example, it has like beautiful roads, for example, these Alps. It has a lot of traffic respect, right? That's important, right? It's important when traffic is respectful. That was also what I was thinking while watching traffic. I'm thinking, okay, that if this is the worst that it gets, it's actually pretty good, right? Because people are respectful. I see people like giving way kind of often. So it's like I don't know, it makes rush hour less rushed when you know, when you can trust that other people will let you buy, for example, let you merge, or let you not merge as in a highway, but in like a small street when you're like getting out of a parking space, for example. If people let you merge without like honking and like being furious or whatever, and there's even like when there is like an intersection, people leave the gap in the middle and don't stop in the middle of the intersection, right? Those things, and I'm not talking about like a big intersection that in most countries, for example, Spain, also happens. That happens in Spain as well, right? That people won't stop actually. Well, but in general, you could expect that when people do stop in the intersection, it is wrong, right? But it's also something that happens a lot more, and it's also something that, for example, it's not considered wrong, I guess, to stop in the middle of a not intersection, but for example, in the middle of a secondary road crossing, not secondary road, but like, for example, a driveway, aka so a place where people park, a driveway of a building, of an office building, for example. It's like people don't usually leave the gap, so when someone's coming out of the office, they have to wait, right? And aside from the internal queue that the people in the office, sorry, aside from the external queue that the people outside the office feel because it's rush hour, there is the added pressure of this internal queue that gets formed inside the office, right? And I feel like what I've seen from this German traffic is kind of promising in that way, right? It is, I don't know, it looks like they give way a lot more and it's more respectful. So yeah, I feel like that's a good something that makes Germany, like, or at least Munich, from what I've seen, right? These are like small observations, and I have not driven a lot in the city, so I can't like actually say. But yeah, Doc demuro, I think, would stim this too. He would agree. I would say he would say, okay, yeah, that's something I've experienced as well, because he mentions that German drivers and German like highways, etc., and German like mountain roads, etc., are good because also because there are not like too many cyclists or like motorbikes or like motorbike people. I think cyclists could be an exception, but motorbike people, for example, in the sides, for example, like in Vietnam, even if you have like beautiful mountain roads, you can't really enjoy driving on them because they're fucking motorbikes like going by, right? So it's like dangerous. Meanwhile, Germany is not like that so much. For example, Spain, I would say it's similar. Probably it has like pretty good roads. The problem is that in Spain there are actually a lot of cyclists. And yeah, talking about cyclists, the other thing that I would like to say is that Munich is good for bikes also, right? Munich is one of the best cities for bikes according to my friend. He thinks he read it somewhere or whatever, and I was thinking of buying a bike. That was before I even came, but right now, seeing it live, I think even more. Because, yeah, it looks like it is a pretty good city for bikes, because bikes get their own ways, right? Radwege, Radwege. And yeah, that's cool. I think that's cool. And also it makes things better for cars as well, right? Because they're like, I don't know, you have to be, yeah, because they have their own speed, you don't have to be like extra careful, and you get less angry because of it. It's like you have to, you know, more when you have to be careful more evidently, and therefore you get less angry when, yeah, you do have to be careful. Then the next thing that I was saying is that it's that the public transit system is in general, I would say, pretty complete, right? It has like metro, it has like aka U-Bahn, it has tram, aka Straßenbahn, it has yeah, Nahverkehr, so like public transit for like the close by rapid transit, is it called S-Bahn, for like Stadtbahn or like Schnellbahn. I've seen like several definitions. Yeah, So yeah, there are different types of public transit here, which is pretty cool, I would say, and makes things, yeah, not sure if easier or whatever, but it makes things, I guess, appealing also for like moving around. You have like all of these options, right? You have the option of like, could enjoy riding around using trains, trams, metro, bikes, cars, motorbikes even, and in my case also driving the trains. And yeah, I think the last thing that I wanted to say is that flight is yet to be analyzed, and in that realm I would say that Munich is probably like not the best city to get a pilot's license, probably. Not sure, I don't get the vibe that it is, but who knows? It's like I haven't looked into it too bad, but yeah, mainly the fact that the airport is like 40 minutes away by train, like 50 minutes away by train, makes me think that yeah, it's probably not that great of a place for it, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. And yeah, I think that were some reflections that I wanted to talk about in this video from this every video a day or whatever in April thing. This has been a longer video. I could have made it shorter if I had edited it, but yeah, I've chosen so far to keep going with this off the cuff vibe because not necessarily I don't have time, but yeah, I am making these videos at the end of the day because I've been doing other things. Today it was not a case of not having time, it was more of a case of using my time for different kinds of entertainment. I would say I have played PUBG, I have then watched a movie with some classmates. So yeah, I guess I'm putting social lives of different sorts, for example, with my classmates and with my friends from Spain before the internet, like my internet quest of making videos. I've prioritized that, I would say. But yeah, I don't think that's wrong. I think that's actually kind of, yeah, I think it's okay and it makes sense given my circumstances. Perhaps I will get more time so I can prioritize more things, or perhaps I will choose to prioritize different things in different moments of my life. Talking about short-term life, like maybe I have more time to put into internet videos once load, or it's like I guess cognitive load or like social load or whatever decreases, which is probably bound to happen. Who knows, right? I don't want to put things in the mouths of nobody or whatever, but it's something, I don't know, it's I guess how humanity works, and like how, yeah, I guess how I see people engaging or stopping engaging, right? It's like I predict I will have less social loads sooner. Who knows, right? Maybe it's a bad prediction, or maybe it's like a self-fulfilling prediction. But yeah, I mean it not in a I'm going to attempt to do it as, but it's like in the I'm sensing this is starting to happen already type thing. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you got here until the end, comment car, bike, train, or tram, or subway emoji. And yeah, thank you. Goodbye.